Congratulations, you've made the decision on selling your home, but now you're wondering how much is it going to cost me? Selling your home can be really stressful. Thinking about moving into a new area, packing the house, finding a place to live. But you know what's even more stressful? Selling your home and not even knowing what it's going to cost you. Hi, I'm Tammy Cicerella with RE/MAX Santa Clarita, and on this video, I'm going to show you how much it's going to cost you to sell your home. When you know you're selling closing costs up front, then you know exactly what you're going to walk away with at the close of escrow. So one of your very first fees is your title and escrow fees. So your title fees are going to be for your title insurance, and that's going to actually cover if something should happen and any liens came up on the property after we closed escrow, the title company would then be responsible to make sure that those were all taken care of. So those title fees can range anywhere from $1,200 to a few $1,000s. So it just depends upon your sales price. But when we get together, I'm going to be able to tell you what your title fees will be. In addition, you're going to have escrow fees. And escrow fees are going to run like on a $500,000 home. They're going to be about $1,400 or so for the escrow fees. So just to kind of give you a good rule of thumb, but when we get together, again, I'm going to be able to give you exact figures of what your escrow fees will be. And since we're in LA County, we do have a transfer fee, and that transfer fee is going to run about $1.10 per every $1,000 of the sales price. So depending upon the sales price, depends on what that's going to be, but it's $1.10 for every $1,000 of sales price, and that actually gets paid to the county for the transfer fee. So we also are going to have prorations. We have prorations of taxes, we have prorations of interest, and also of HOA fees if you have one. So everything's prorated the day of recordation of the deed. So property taxes, HOA fees, and interest you're going to pay till the day escrow closes. And those really aren't true closing costs. Those are more costs of living in the property. You're going to have those whether you sell your home or not, but they do have to be paid through escrow in order to close the escrow. And then of course the buyer is going to pay the taxes and association fees and their own interest on their loan from that day on, from the day we close escrow. And then of course you have your loan on your property. If you have a loan, there will be a payoff on your loan. So depending upon what you owe, depends on what that number is going to be. And then your bank will also charge payoff fees. They usually range anywhere from $100 to $300. We have no control over that. It just depends upon your bank and what they charge for the payoff information. So real estate commissions. That's always a big question that sellers have. So sellers do pay both the buyer's commission and the seller's commission. You probably remember when you bought the house, you didn't pay your buyer's agent any commissions. So the seller paid for their commissions. So you're going to be paying both sides of the commission. However, the commissions are negotiable, and I personally have different tiers of service that I offer. So another question that clients always ask is, who pays for the photographer? Who pays for the drones? Who pays for all the marketing that we do in the meantime while we're putting the house on the market? That is actually the seller's agent's responsibility to pay for. So that all comes out of the commission. It's not something you're going to pay for in addition. That is actually part of why you're paying a commission. So when you add all of the closing costs together, your escrow fees, title fees, payoff fees for your lender, all of those usually range somewhere in that 6 to 8% range when you total them all up, just to kind of give you a rough estimate. But again, when we get together and we're looking at closing costs for your home and what your sales price is, we're going to be able to give you really accurate figures so that you know exactly what you're going to walk away with. If you would like to receive an estimated net sheet for your upcoming sale, see what we can do to market your home to get top dollar for you, or just have any real estate related questions, feel free to reach out and give me a call. I'm Tammy Cicerella with the Cicerella team at RE/MAX Santa Clarita.